The fastest way for you to make $5,000 with meme coins is to understand how to beat crypto millionaires. In this video, I'm going to be showing you everything from the exact filters that I use to the wallets I track and how you need to understand that you are the enemy of a crypto millionaire and a crypto millionaire is your enemy as well, and how you can overcome that and be profitable. Now, while you're watching this video, you probably have a $1,000 account. In worst cases, even less. And in most cases, this is your situation. One bad trade wipes out a week of your gains, analyzing charts while whales are already selling, and you miss those crazy opportunities. Whether it's the fact that you just wasn't active at the time, you were sleeping, or you sold too early in worst cases, or you bought too late. There's a reason why you're experiencing this. While there's the millionaire traders where they get insider intel, they know exactly which wallets to follow. And in fact, they are the wallets that we are trying to follow when they have wallets that they are following as well. Speed. They've got access to bots that execute in milliseconds while we're there using normal bots like Axiom, GMGN, and so on and so forth. Capital. They can afford 50 lottery tickets versus our 5. Risk tolerance. Losing 100K to them doesn't hurt. Whereas to us, that's like a dream life. I say to us, I mean to you guys, but you get what I mean. And market influence. Their buys can move prices. You need to understand, when you're going against something like this, it's not as easy as you just getting a signal or a call from a random community. You need to understand exactly what it takes to actually overcome this sort of enemy. And in this video, I'm going to break down exactly how, and I'm going to show you the exact wallets and the exact filters that I personally use. Now, what I want you to understand, bro, is you are against every single other person in the market. Every single wallet you see on here, every single trader you see in every single coin is your enemy. What I see people do every single day is they blame the token, they blame the community, they blame the narrative. That is not the problem. The problem is that when you're in a coin like this, for example, you are getting in, let's say here, and by the time it's got onto here, you're not selling because you think it's going to do another 2 to 3x, right? You're hoping that this is the next coin that goes to like 3, 4, 5 mil or beyond. You need to understand that in order for you to profit, you need to have an actual strategy. And the best strategy to follow is one where you can consistently predict the amount of profit you make on a day-to-day basis. Let me show you some examples, right? If, for example, we go to, these are all the kind of blatant wallets that I follow. I might actually release this wallet where I've got 100 wallets that I've personally gone out there and found myself, but that's for another video. But I want to show you like the general wallets that even you probably follow at this at the time of watching this video. But one thing you'll notice is if we go analyze tech, for example, right? Most people will look at this and think, wow, you know, he's up 820K. You know, he must have hit some crazy runners. But what you don't understand is if we look on the side here, out of all the coins that he's traded, right? So if you do the maths on this, he's probably traded almost 3,000 tokens. Only 35 of them have done more than a 5x. 35 tokens out of 3,000 have done a 5x. Out of those 3,000, only 100 did a 3 to 5x, right? And then majority of them, almost 50%, did a 3x or less, right? And you probably think it's 2x, by the way. 200% is actually 3x, not 2x, okay? The point is, while most of you are trying to look for those big runners, or you think you're in a token that's going to do the next 5x, 10x, 20x, majority of these expert traders are taking profits on you while you're waiting for this coin to explode. You need to understand, consistency will always, always beat anyone who's trying to wait for that golden run, all right? Let's look at this person, for example, right? DJN. So if we look at him, bro, look at his losses. Like, first of all, I want you to pay attention to the fact that his losses are minimal compared to what he makes. Like for someone who's making 120K in a day, I'd expect his losses to probably be like 5K losses, 10K losses. Now, don't get me wrong. He's got a 6K loss here. He's got a 5K loss here. But majority of his daily losses are around $700, $800, you know, $200. It kind of signals to me that this guy won't overtrade on days where he's losing. And it's kind of obvious that you can see that because there's days where he'll make a 1K profit consistently and he'll call it a day, right? He's not over trading himself. He's not over leveraging himself. a lot of the days he's just compounding his wins. Look, a $600 loss, then a 1K win, a 6K win, a 10K loss, 26K loss. Do you get what I mean? Like, these are crazy. But then when you think about it, the small wins are compounding for those big wins to wipe out all the losses. And that's the trick here. If we go to this month as well, for example, right? Even if every single day was a 1K loss, let's just say, by the end of the month, he literally made 120K, which would have wiped out every single loss. That's all you need, right? If you understand how to minimize your losses, one big win can overcome all your losses. That's all you need, right? If I go back to the other wallet, you'll notice the exact same thing, right? Look, small losses around smaller wins with one big win. Stop aiming for big wins for you to be able to grow substantially. You don't need that. You just need to compound wins over and over and over again. So how exactly do you do that? Well, I'm going to go over it. Strategy number one is smart money tracking system, right? You need a tracking system that consistently gives you the tools for you to be able to profit on a daily basis. Now, how I've personally done this and what's worked for me is having 20 to 30 proven wallets, not wallets that you found in a day and you thought, oh, okay, they're profitable. Like I'll test this out and I'll follow it. And like, proven wallets that day in and day out, you see that they actually know how to trade. And this is why I said to you, there's this list that I've got of 103 wallets that I've personally proven to myself. I've skipped the whole 20 to 30 range. I have 100 wallets that can consistently 10x their portfolios time and time and time again, right? All I do nowadays is I track buys, the buy sizes and their hold times to gauge conviction levels, and I enter in and that's it. It's gotten to a point where I don't even need to go out there and find my own tokens. And I'm being completely honest. Like, there's guys out there that will pretend that they're out there, scouting for new coins. They're on Twitter and so on and so forth. Don't get me wrong. There are times where I'm bored. I'm like, you know what? Let me go on Twitter, see if there's a narrative. But what's the point if I've got wallets that I know will spot narratives before everyone else and all I need to do is follow? Tell me what's the point? Why would I go out of my way and have to fight my emotions? I have to argue with myself inside when there's already someone who's done that for me. And all I need to do is follow. What's the point, right? Once you understand how a particular wallet works, you've cracked the code. You've cracked the game. And that's the best thing about the crypto space, is that everything is transparent. If I find a wallet that makes 100K profit every single day, there's no way he can hide. The only way he can hide is by changing wallets. But I'm telling you now, I've cracked the way on how to find these wallets over and over and over again, because I know the type of tokens that they get into, right? And I know where to spot them. Now, how you want to go about labeling these wallets is labeling by trading style. So you'll notice with my wallets, for example, obviously not the ones that I showed you here, but the ones in this list, is I label them based on the kind of strategy they trade. And I've showed this in a different video as well, where it's like I'll label them based on the coin that I found them on and the type of trader they are. So low MC, high MC, long hold, short hold, high profit, low profit, etc., etc. So that, for example, let's say I label them as low MC, and then I see this wallet actually get into a high market cap coin, like for example this, like a 500K market cap coin. I'm going to think to myself, hold on, this guy's a low market cap trader. Am I really going to trust him in a high market cap coin? Probably not, right? So that's why you always label these type of labels, okay? Now, just this strategy alone will allow you to make $5,000. I'm talking probably in the space of a week. If you understand how to find the right wallets, which I've even shown a video on before, and I'll probably tag it somewhere in the description below, you will understand how to find profitable wallets. You need to understand this, right? Don't go about doing this whole thing where you're trying to learn how to do everything time and time and time again, and you're just making mistakes and trying to learn from your mistakes. Learn from the mistakes that people have already made by just following their footsteps, right? Now, strategy number 2 is narrative front running, right? This works if you are trying to go about hitting that home run, right? If you're in a desperate position where you're like, you know what? I actually really just want to turn my $50 into, 15K. You would need to front run. There is no way on earth you're going to hit a 50x, 100x, 200x by hopping on that green candle that you've just seen on one of the coins that got called in a group, right? If a coin got called in a group at 50K market cap and that's at 250K, don't expect that 250k coin to magically go to like 25 mil. Don't get me wrong, it could. But the chances are, out of the 100 tokens that are getting sent in the groups that you're in, only 1 or 2 are actually going to do this. So your best chances are to either find someone who already front runs narratives consistently, or you're going to have to try and do it yourself. Now, if you ask me, I would much rather prefer strategy 1, but the reason I included strategy 2 is because it works as well, right? It works. If you understand what Twitter trackers to use and how to actually track Twitter, not this BS way that people say, oh, follow all the Coles and just follow all the popular people and just see what they're posting. By the time a popular person has posted, everyone has already bought and sold. I don't think you understand. No way on earth is a popular person on Twitter going to post a token, post a phrase, shill a coin before they've bought. They're not going to do that. Before they've told their friends, they're not going to do that. And before they've already executed an exit plan, right? The whole point of people tweeting stuff is let's mark it out, for example, yeah? And I've seen this in real time, right? I've literally tested this theory. If a Cole or someone on Twitter tweets a coin, let's just say they tweeted it while I was here, chances are they've bought anywhere around here, right? And the reason as to why they're trying to tweet is because they want to pump their bags, right? Pretty obvious. But my point is they know that as soon as they tweet, this is what's going to happen, right? This is what's going to happen. This little pump right here. Now, what then happens, and I'm glad I'm using this as an example, not saying that someone has tweeted this, but the point is that little tweet is going to give them a short-term pump, and they've already got a sell limit set. They've got a sell limit set right there so that they can sell on everyone that bought upon that tweet. And what some will even do is they'll set buy limits after that sell limit because they have conviction in this token as well. So what they'll do is not only will they exit on their followers, for example, but they'll also buy back in to get a better entry point for their tokens. It's a mad thing that people do, but I'm telling you, this is what people do. And this is why I started this video off by telling you, most of these traders, most of these Twitter people, everyone is your enemy in this space. You need to understand you're against every single other person in this space, right? Anyway, back to what I was saying. So use Twitter trackers, buy potential virality at sub 50k market cap. And the reason I say sub 50k is because, first of all, it's lower risk. You might think, oh, because it's such low market cap, it's high risk. It's not, right? Because if you think about it, how many tokens have we seen that have gone to 200k market cap and then dumped to like 50k right after? That's minus 70%, right? Whereas if a token goes from like 50k market cap to, let's just say, 35k, it's actually not that much, right? It's a 30% loss. You have a very small, like a smaller window for you to make a decision in. Whereas with a coin like this, for example, you've got such a huge window that you need to set a stop loss, and sometimes your mind will play tricks on you. It's like, okay, cool. Well, it's at, just say 550k market cap. I'm meant to stick within like 30%, which is 400k. But by the looks of it, it's already touched 400k, so I kind of need to go a bit below it just in case. But then it's like, what if it goes down to the previous support level, which is 250k? This is not what you want to be dealing with at that point, right? Instead, what you want to be dealing with is, let's say we go down to here, and you can see literally 50k, right? Look what it was doing at 50k for this type of coin, okay? It was hovering around 50k, and for a coin like this, it didn't look, literally, as I was saying, like it barely touched 35k. You could have easily set your stop loss at 30k, for example, right? And look what it did. The upside potential of a low market cap coin is far greater than the upside potential of a mid market cap coin, right? Look at that pump. Like, look what it did in, like, if you bought in at 50k here, you would have really made a 3 to 5x. And I even started this video off by saying, don't aim for 3 to 5x's. But look what it did, right? The likelihood of a token now going from 500k to 2.5M is a lot lower than a coin going from 50k to 250k, okay? So if you've got the right tools in place for you to actually buy this potential virality, you can make a decent amount of money relatively quick, right? Which leads me on to the next point. Don't FOMO into million plus market cap coins. Matter of fact, if you are who I said you are here, where you've got a $1,000 account, you shouldn't even be buying $1 million plus market cap coins. There's no point. There is genuinely no point, because you're just going to sit there and wait and hold your breath until it potentially does a 2 or 3x. And even then, you're probably not going to sell because you're not going to be satisfied. Because you're going to see all these other guys that bought at 200k market cap, 100k market cap, 50k market cap that have made like 20, 30, 40, 50k, while you're there with your like $500 profit, $1,000 profit. Doesn't make sense, right? And lastly, validate with smart wallets. All links back to what I said here. Now, whether you want to call this smart money wallets, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about wallets that you've actually found and vetted based on strategy one that have actually front-run narratives. This is how I personally front-run narratives. I don't go just based on my emotion and what's going on in my brain. I go based on, okay, cool. This could be a narrative that I can front-run, but are there credible front-runners that I personally know that have also got into this? If there isn't, I'll start to question my conviction in it as well. Because I know if I found this coin, there must have been someone else that I know within those 100 wallets that I spoke about that have also found this coin, right? Now, strategy 3 is a tool stack automation. You need to understand that, using Axiom alone is not going to get you any further than the other person that's using Axiom alone as well, right? And funny enough, I was talking to a friend about this yesterday. The only way, and you'll notice this yourself, the only way for you to succeed in this space is by not being part of the 99%. I'm not talking about being part of the 1%, which it basically means the same. But my point is, instead of trying to be part of the 1%, try to avoid being the 99%. That's the point. When you see everyone using the same thing, try and go a different way. And I don't mean go like, oh, just because everyone's using Axiom, go and use Bonkbot because no one's using Bonkbot anymore. No, clearly there's a disadvantage there. But you need to actively be looking for tools that are going to help you with your growth substantially that most people aren't aware about. And you're probably wondering how. Twitter, my friend. Twitter. You know the amount of tools that I found on Twitter that are not obvious whatsoever? I'm talking these tools will have like 1,000 followers and the tools are insanely good, bro. Like insanely good. Whether it comes to wallet tracking, whether it comes to just anything to do with, I don't want to go too much into depth because I don't want to reveal I covered this here because I'm actually not going to give it away. You know what? I'll give it away in my Telegram group. Join the Telegram group in the link in the description and I will put this tool that I'm specifically talking about in this video in there. And then once you use that tool, you can then use the 99% stuff to leverage that tool, like Axiom, GMGN, because obviously those are the tools that we actually use to trade, right? But you need tools that give you that advantage in the first place for you to be able to trade, right? If you're part of the 99%, you're going to get 99% results. You think these traders here are part of the 99%? Realistically, do you think that they're doing the exact same thing that you are to make this sort of money? Of course not. They've got an advantage. And you're probably wondering, well, why aren't these tools in public? Like, why are they not so obvious? Well, that's the whole point. If it was that easy, everyone would be rich. But that's why you hear 99.9% of people, and I'm pretty sure if you're watching this video, majority of the people you hang around with or talk to or are affiliated within the Memecoin space, they complain a lot more than they celebrate. That's not the kind of network you want, right? My network, we celebrate more than we complain. And the only time where you will get a sign that you're on the right path is when the network around you is celebrating more than they complain, right? Because otherwise, if you're around the complainers, then you're around the 99%, okay? Now, obviously, once you figure out the tool that you need to use and you're using Axiom to obviously get better entries, you want to also set alerts for the wallets that you actually find for whenever they buy and sell. Now, specifically, a criteria as well. So, I don't want to go on to my live trades because it'll show some of the wallets that are here. But essentially what I do, I always filter to minimum 1 Solana buys. I will never, ever, ever copy trade someone who buys less than 1 Solana in a token. Because I just know that, in fact, the majority of the time, I even do like minimum 3, minimum 4 Solana. But sometimes I'll put minimum 1 because I like to go with a higher risk, higher reward trades. But point is, if anyone's putting less than 1 Solana in a coin, do you really think they've got conviction in that coin? Do you really think they've got conviction? Of course not, bro. They're just throwing money because it's fun. Like, I'm sure you've done it as well probably, where you've just thrown money in a coin because you thought, you know what, this could do something, but if I lose this money, I don't really care, right? I don't want to follow people that do that, okay? So I always put minimum a specific Solana buy when copy trading people, and I have wallet alerts to tell me exactly when someone has bought. And lastly, cross-check wallet data monthly. Now, most people, what they do here is as soon as they put a wallet into their thing, they will basically just leave it there for eternity and just copy trade that person for eternity. I don't do that. Why? Because I know stuff changes. The market moves insanely quick to the point where I don't even trust the best traders that I've got to keep up with the market. Someone that you knew was a good trader 4 months ago might not be a good trader today. And that's why you'll see, like, even now, like, look, all these traders that I've added, even though they're the obvious ones, it's just 1 month ago. Because sometimes I remove traders. I remove them because I'm like, you know what, you're not good enough anymore. Okay? So you always want to do a refresh of the wallets that you're actually copy trading. Right? Always cross-check wallet data monthly. Always check, oh, what's this guy been up to over the past month? Right? I'm pretty sure if I go onto one of these wallets now, I'll probably find out that they weren't doing so good in the past month or two. I mean, look, I did a refresh not long ago, so a lot of these wallets probably won't be out of date or, bad. By the way, just to go completely off topic, as you can see, look, this is an example of how I name a wallet. High profit, Sadia. This is exactly where I found this wallet, on a coin called Sadia, and it was a high profit trade. So I expect this person to aim for high profit based on the analysis that I did on their wallet. So when I've checked their wallet, I noticed that a lot of their coins are high profit, right? High return. So that's what they aim for. So if I see this person get into a coin, I know that they're aiming for high profit. That was the point I was trying to make earlier, okay? Now, last but not least, strategy 4, community intelligence and collaboration. But you need to understand, without risk management, no other strategy works. As I said earlier, you shouldn't just be in communities blindly trading what other people call, right? I even included some screenshots, which again, like, you've got people saying this is the best community I've ever had in crypto, right? And look, you need to understand, look, I've had conversations with people where they've literally told me that they've been scammed by different communities. Look, I've just gotten scammed 3 times already. And I was like, you seem to be having nightmares with these scammers. I literally just welcomed him into my group because he just literally got in. And he's like, bro, just wanted to join a good community and people out here taking advantage. What did he say? Literally 5 days later, my bro, just wanted to hit you up and give you a quick thank you. TCH is OP. Every call you make hits. Every single call you make hits. When are people saying that, bro? Are people saying that about you or the person that's in your group? Probably not. The person who's running the group that you're in probably just sends in leaderboards of the 100 coins that he called and 5 of them doing well, right? You need to understand that I've trained this skill for me to be able to provide to people on a day-to-day basis, right? I understand that. Anyway, next thing is get around profitable traders who share real-time insights, right? The best thing I said, as I said earlier, is when you have people around you that are consistently making profit, right? They're celebrating more than they're complaining. Remember that phrase, yeah? You also want to have a place where you can get support during losing streaks and guidance on new strategies, right? Even me, I sometimes have a time where I need a bit of assistance, right? I ask about a coin to my network. I ask people, what do you think about this coin? Bro, I'm still holding this. What do you think? Da, 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 da. I even still get guidance. So why would you, who has barely any connections, the connections you do have aren't really that strong, why would you think that you shouldn't be leveraging other people's opinions if I'm even doing it when I have a way crazier network, right? Next is access to live trade calls and collaborative analysis. What I mean by this is, one, obviously I see exactly what other people are getting into and why, and they're also analyzing right in front of me. So I'm in groups, not only my group, but I'm in very tight-knit groups that are invite only, where people are literally analyzing in real time and saying exactly why this coin is good and this coin isn't. So I can even send a coin in there and be like, boys, just bought into this, saw this person bought into this. Why do you think that is? Da, 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 da. And we're all analyzing at the same time. It speeds up the analysis process. And the best thing about that is you'll see something that you might not have spotted that someone else spotted and they sent into the group. And it's like you've got like 20 eyes now all looking at this one token and analyzing at the same time, right? Sometimes we even have roles. We'll have some person like rug check. Obviously, we know how to spot a rug in an instant right now. But for example's sake, we have someone like rug check, for example. We have someone check the socials. We have someone check the whole breakdown of the coin. Like, for example, check whether it's bundled, insiders, snipers, etc., etc. We have literally people who are specialized in this certain thing. And the way for you to do that is to actually get into these communities and network with people. Bro, some of the people that I've even let into my own community, I didn't know they were well connected until I found out, oh, sheesh kebab, like this person is well connected. And I've been invited to their group after that, right? And then, of course, learn from other members' wins and losses. Now, strategy 5, bulletproof risk management. And yes, this is a strategy, right? You probably think, oh, this is just risk management. No, bro, this is a strategy. You need to understand, if you don't have a bulletproof risk management strategy, every single thing that I've just broken down here is going to go to waste. You will not be able to make any money whatsoever if you don't have the right risk management strategy, right? As I said, without risk management, no other strategy works. Now, firstly, never put more than 2 to 10% per trade. I don't care how much conviction you have, never, ever, ever put more than 2 to 10% in every single trade. If you have conviction on a particular trade, put 10%. Don't put more than that. And another thing that I don't think I added here is your wallet should never, ever, ever have 100% of your capital in it, right? If you have $1,000 to trade with, your wallet should only have like 500 in it, right? Only 500. Why? It could be for any reason. One, you could get drained. That's the worst case scenario. But two is you might just get carried away, right? I used to do this when I first started. I used to get carried away. I used to think, oh yeah, I've got conviction in this token. Let me put 20% this time. Let me put 25%. Next thing you know, your 4 trades go by and you've already blown your account and you've got nothing to trade with. All right. Next is take initials aggressively between 50 to 150%. If you join my community, you know, in fact, the members will tell you how aggressively I take initials, and I tell everyone take initials. And if someone tells me, bro, I didn't take initials, I will genuinely get onto them. I'll be like, bro, why, bro? Like, how many times do I tell you to take initials and you still don't take initials, bro? Like, it's your fault at the end of the day. If you don't take initials and you try and hold from 50K to like 250K without taking a single penny out, it's your fault. All right. Next is set stop losses and take profit alerts when not watching. If you don't have an advanced trading strategy, right? And I'm talking about this here, and I'm not going to go over it in this video. I will show you in another video. But if you don't have an advanced trading strategy, you are making a massive, massive, massive mistake, right? A huge mistake, right? If you want to trade like an expert, act like one. So next is leave a moon bag when taking big profits. Now, I said when taking big profits because you don't need to leave a moon bag into every single token. But what I mean is when a token has motion, and I'm talking like, again, you maybe rid a token from, let's say 50K market cap to like 400K market cap, and you're like, you know what? I'm going to take majority of profits because I don't think it's going to run up. Leave a moon bag. Because if a coin went from, 50K market cap to 400K, there's still a chance it could go to $1 million, right? Or it could go to 1.5 million. And this all links back to the advanced trading strategy because you'll be able to capitalize on it where you don't even need to even look at a chart. Because obviously, in most cases, a lot of people don't want to leave a moon bag because they want to have to keep up with the token. But it's like, imagine you had an advanced trading strategy where it's like, if you left a moon bag, it will take profit here, it will take profit here, it will take profit, in multiple different locations. And now you're just making passive income as the token goes up. That's exactly what you want to aim for, okay? Now, that's literally every single thing that you need to know to make your next $5,000 in the Memecoin market. And if you pause the video, you'll be able to see exactly how much money we've made people in the Memecoin space. And it goes on and on and on. Like, if you go into my Instagram as well, you'll see the amount of results I've made. I mean, I even had someone buy a car from Memecoins. And believe it or not, this person had 30 euros when he first started, right? And I literally documented the whole process. But yeah, if you enjoyed this video, like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.